What's up, everybody? You're looking live at Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. My name is Julian, aka DJ. I tell you what, we're a generational Cowboy fans, and my co-host is my dad, Cowboy Joe. We are father and son content creators, and welcome to our show.
As Julian, I tell you what said, I'm a third generation Cowboys fan. He is a fourth generation Cowboys fan. We're excited about our new show, so let's get it.
All right. So, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to go back and look at the 2023 draft and talk about Mozzie and Schoon.
Okay.
And we're going to do a little redraft and just see if we had to do this draft over, will we select Mozzie and Schoon? If we were not going to select them, who would we select?
Okay. Cool. So let me pull up the draft. So the latest so Mozzie was what? He was first. So it's like a lot of people, like I was saying yesterday, Mike McCarthy, all of them, they're saying that, oh, Mozzie's doing a good job and this and that. And then you have content creators like Jeff and Brian Broaddus. They say the complete opposite. So I know who I believe. I know who we believe. But, Mozzie them, Will McClay, he's the one that actually picked
for Mozzie.
Yeah, he did. He's the one that said it. He said himself, because Steven asked him, who would you pick right now between him and the guard that was on there? And that's what he said. Will McClay championed for him. So Will McClay championed for him. So it's his deal. He said we hadn't picked up a player a defensive tackle that high in years, and we always pick a guard. So let's see. We picked at the end of the round. Can you see this clearly, or I need to make it bigger?
You can make it a little bigger. So who went after Mozzie?
Anton Harrison, Miles Murphy, Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith, I wasn't that high on. We saw him play a little bit with the Eagles. I'm not really sure if he's gonna come back and play better this year. I really wasn't impressed with his first year.
Your guy's right here.
Who was that?
Joey Porter.
I would have taken Joey Porter Jr.
My guy's right here.
Who was your guy?
Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta was an interesting pick. Now we already had, our tight end was set with Jake Ferguson, but as many weapons as you can have on offense. That would have been a great pick, but we're gonna talk about the tight end they picked here in just a minute, which was the wrong pick. Now, who else? It was somebody else on there that we saw. I think they wanted Matthew Bergeron too.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
He went 38 to the Falcons.
So he went after Mozzie.
Mm-hmm.
So Matthew Bergeron would have been your guard that's going to replace Zach Martin.
Yep.
And then Joey Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm. So right now you got Joey Porter Jr. You got Sam Laporta. You got Matthew Bergeron. I like Jonathan Mingo. You really didn't care for him.
I didn't like Mingo.
I also liked we talking about first round, so we don't I don't want to go all the way down here because we're talking about the first round.
Yeah.
So let me fix that.
But I think this was an example of Will McClay. He really kind of overruled the room there, which that's what you want your scout to do. But I think in this case, he just picked the wrong player.
Yeah, and like I said, we really don't. Like I was saying, we really don't have the evidence. All of the draft picks that they pick that do good are the slam dunk picks that don't require any kind of scouting. We knew CD Lamb was going to be a great pick. We knew Trayvon Diggs was going to be a great pick. They were going to pick them in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Micah slam dunk pick, and they was finna mess that up. I won't say mess it up, but they were going to pick what's the name from Denver if he was there.
And that would have been an okay pick. It would have been a good pick.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been like Micah.
Not like Micah.
So,
but we want to say this about Mozzie. We still gotta let him play, this season and just kind of see, because he has had some really good days of practice and in camp. He's had some good days and bad days, but I think hey, we finna find out if he was a good pick or not. It's all finna happen. It ain't nowhere he can go, but
and like I said, I'm gonna stick to my guns on this. I think that he gonna have a bounce back here. I do.
Yeah.
I think that his back is up against the wall, and I think that he gonna come out and he gonna perform. That's what I think. They're making too much about him. They're making too much camp about him. I mean, like everybody's talking about him. So he gonna prevail. I think so. And if he don't, then
hey. And what's gonna happen too? He's gonna be on the field with 10 other guys that really, really can just, if he's making mistakes or whatever the case may be, you got 10 other guys that's gonna be right there to kind of cover up. So he gonna have time to really adjust. Let's talk about Schoon.
Oh man,
this is the one that we really can't wrap our head around. We don't know why they insisted on taking a tight end and taking him. So it's just really, really weird the way they made that pick.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it is weird how they pick it now. See, Mike McCarthy, he really wanted a tight end. See, they were going to pick who were they going to pick? They were going to pick the other tight end, Michael Mayer, right?
Michael Mayer ended up being good. He's playing for the Raiders.
Yep.
I didn't really like Michael Mayer, but just watching him play, the thing that's frustrating about Schoon is that all of the tight ends that were drafted, they all have good athleticism. They all good athletes. They all can run. They all can catch. They have wiggle. Yeah. He doesn't have none of that.'s just like a refrigerator out there. He just.
Mm-hmm. And then what's so strange about that is not even in his like, how you say you got to be careful when you watch these dudes highlights, because when you watch the highlights from college, it's all of the good stuff. Out of 1,000 plays, they pick 20 the best ones, obviously. When you look at Luke Schoonmaker highlight tapes from Michigan, it ain't even good.
No.
Don't even look good.
He's catching the ball. He's falling down. He's barely catching the ball. He's fighting the ball. Just there's no rack. There's no nothing. He's just running, turning around, catching the ball. No separation. So we really got to try to figure out exactly.
Who did he cost us the game against? Where he
the Eagles. The Eagles
cost us that game.
Yeah, and the other thing is he's hurt again. So he was hurt. I just heard the other day that he was hurt actually at the combine. He was hurt all throughout his college career. He's hurt now. So if he's hurt, guy, you got to remember too, he's an older guy. I think he's like 25. Yep. So my thing is this: in one of our upcoming shows, we're going to talk about what's going to happen with Mike McCarthy, whether he stays or goes. One thing you can absolutely just count is if McCarthy is not the coach here next year, Schoon will not make the team. He won't.
I think he won't better. He's not gonna make the team this year. The way they're gonna have him make the team, because he's a second round pick, is by putting him on IR. Even though he got a little pinky toe issue that does not require him to be on IR to save his position, just without cutting a first round draft pick, they're gonna put him on IR.
Hey, and I was gonna ask you, so early in camp, I was hearing that John Stevens was not having a good camp, but here lately they saying he's like on fire. He's doing really, really good. So what have you actually seen?
I've actually seen that, I don't want to say on fire, but definitely I've seen good. I mean, what I've seen of him has been good. I don't know what they're saying that he wasn't having a good camp. I feel like I think what they might have been saying was that he wasn't as far along as everybody else in rehab, because everybody else was on fire in rehab. He was with two other guys. What's her name? The linebacker from Texas. I don't know why.
What was John?
Yeah, he's with Overshawn, and because remember they all got hurt at in the same game.
I did hear they kind of had Overshawn on a pitch count.
Right. So, but they all have been progressing, and I heard John Stevens was the last of them progressing, and then I also heard that he's been doing good. I heard he a lock as far as making the team goes.
Oh, he should be the number 2.
Well, he gonna be number 3 because they got Hendershot.
Well, Hendershot, we've been hearing some good and bad on him. So, but the bottom line is, if they were ranking the tight ends just really on their talent, Schoon would be 4th or 5th. He really would be.
He wouldn't be on the team.
No, he wouldn't be on the team.
He'd be 4th for sure. I mean 5th for sure. He wouldn't be on the team. So we all know that. Hey, I wanna show this real quick. And I downloaded this. Now let me see. Let's see how I would put this on here. Can I put this on here? It's just a picture of remember that picture I showed you of the board, the Cowboys board?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to figure out how to put it on here. I can put it on here. We'll come back to that. I figured out what I had to do to put it on there. So we'll come back to it.
But where did they have Schoon and Mozzie?
They had Schoon and around 4 target.
In the 4th round?
Mm-hmm. I can pull it up on here, matter of fact. Cowboys 2023 draft card.
I just don't understand how Will McClay had a board that had Schoon all the way up in the 2nd round.
So they had him in the 4th round.
But he got drafted in the 2nd.
Because it's McCarthy. Remember how we were saying that McCarthy, he
wanted the tight end in the 1st round.
Correct. They was letting him do that, and since Will McClay overruled him in the 1st round, they was just like, okay, McCarthy,
you got a consolation pick.
There you go.
Pick this guy. And that's when you mess up a draft. And you and I have been going back and forth over the years about letting coaches pick players. When you do that, in my opinion, you can really, that's how you end up with Taco, Tristan Hill. We just saw Nashawn Wright. That's what happened with him. That was somebody that Dan Quinn wanted. He was trying to get a Richard Sherman clone, and he's not even on the team now.
But to my point, it really depends on who you got picking your players. Because look at when you have people like Jimmy picking your players. If you have Jimmy picking your players, then you okay. If you have I would say Bill Belichick picking your players, you probably be okay. If you have certain coaches picking your players, then you're okay. But if you have somebody like Rob Marinelli picking your players, you're probably going to be screwed.
But see, I think where I push back on that is Bill Belichick and Jimmy, behind the scenes, they had really good scouts. Jimmy had a guy named Jeff Ireland, so he was the lead scout. Belichick had some really good scouts. Now, New England, they've had some hits and misses, but when you win 6 Super Bowls, you can't complain. Dallas hasn't had that kind of luck.
You're right.
So Jeff Ireland was picking a lot of those players that Jimmy, selected. So, but Jimmy was a much better judge of talent than Dan Quinn, who we were finding out was just overrated in so many ways, even as a defensive coordinator. So
Rob Marinelli as well.
Oh, definitely. We're gonna do another show. We're gonna do a show on Rob Marinelli and talk about that. But
so here's the picture that I was talking about. So look where they got Schoon. Schoonmaker is at the top of round 4, right here. This is round 4 targets. Now, this is what I want to look at. This is the round 1 targets. How many of these players was on the board when we picked Mozzie? Because Mozzie It's supposed to be a round 2 target. Osiris Torrance was definitely there, right?
Quinn, I don't know, where did Quinn Johnson go?
Quinn Johnson.
Kincaid went before Mozzie because Kincaid is a Buffalo, right?
Yeah, they jumped us to get him, which the Cowboys shouldn't have let them do that. The Cowboys should have been on the phone with, who were they on the phone with?
But I think the Cowboys liked the other tight end better than him.
Meyer.
No, the one that went to Detroit. We was talking about him earlier.
Sam Laporta?
Yeah.
No, they was gonna pick Michael Meyer because remember Michael Meyer was the person that was on the Cowboys screen at the draft when they were supposed to pick, because remember they were saying that he was like a Jason Witten clone.
Now, if I had to rank them, I would, I think Michael Meyer would be right before Schoon. He's better than Schoon, but if I had to rank the tight ends 1 through 4, well, Schoon wouldn't even be in my top 4, but so I had Kincaid, Michael Meyer, Sam Laporta, and Dalton Kincaid.
Now, actually, I'm looking at the board. Quinn Johnson went to the Chargers at 21. He wasn't there.
He went before.
Yeah, Zay Flowers went to Baltimore at 22, so he wasn't there. All of these other players, Dalton Kincaid, he went before. The only person that was there was Osiris Torrance and Will McDonald.
Now we talking about Schoon, right? Or we talking about Mozzie?
Well, we was talking about Mozzie. We want to talk about Schoon. If we talk about Schoon, we'll be talking about all of these players was there. Even these players was there, except
now. What's the receiver that went to Houston that we could have taken when we took Schoon?
Tank
Dell.
Yeah.
That's who we should have taken instead of Mozzie.
They don't even have Tank Dell on this board.
Instead of Schoon.
They don't even have Tank Dell on this board at all.
That's why they didn't take him.
Which is insane to me.
Tank Dell would be the replacement for Brandon Cooks.
Here you go. This is an indictment on Will McClay again. So, and Will McClay, if he was all that in the bag of chips, he would have GM offers. He signed because he didn't have any GM offers. So, and then how much influence does he have if they're letting the coaches, which is another misnomer. Everybody always thinks that Jerry and Steven running the show. They're not. They let the coaches run the show. So how much does Will McClay have to say if all these coaches are picking these players? And it's obvious that these coaches are picking these players. It's almost like the coaches tell Will McClay what they're looking for, and Will McClay goes and finds what they're looking for. And then who they end up picking end up getting traded to the Vikings today.
So, Will McClay, we're not as high on him as everybody else will, but he have had some gems, some people, some players that he have taken that ended up, being really good players. So it's a little bit of both, but I know Brian Broaddus, and shout out to Brian Broaddus, he said something a few weeks ago, something that I've always kind of wondered was who actually, made the decision to draft Taco. It was some back and forth on whether it was Rob Marinelli or Will McClay, and Broaddus, he finally said that it really was Marinelli that took Taco
and Tristan Hill.
And Tristan Hill, and then McClay tried to do the company thing and say, okay, I'm the head.
He fell on the sword.
So that's kind of what happened there. So, but when you look at people like Deron Bland, when you have hits like that, it's a little bit of a mixed bag here recently for Will McClay.
So we're gonna say Deron Bland was Will McClay and not Dan Quinn. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I think so.
So, the running back situation for me is now. I think this is more of like how we got generation to generation aspect of it. I'm a 4th generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the 4th generation like myself, we love the skilled players, specifically the running back. You know, we grew up with the best. We grew up with Emmett. We grew up with all of the good running backs. So for us, you gotta out. You know, that's no more than a sexy pick than the running back. When you can have your whole teams, it could, you know, but you can have your whole team solidified. But for us, you got to have a good running back, and they have constantly passed up on running backs that would be starting today. I mean, it happens every year. They pass up on running backs, and then now, I don't think that it's an excuse in the league to do a running back by committee. You shouldn't have to do a running back by committee. You should have a good running back, and they don't value that. They took Zeke in the first round, paid him a whole bunch of money when they stalled on his contract. It was a bad contract. They should have paid him way before they did, and they came back to bite us. They ended up bringing him back, and then they forced him to play when he should only be brought in on situations. He's gonna be our starter probably.
So, one of the things we're gonna do with our show is talking to generation to generation Cowboys talk is, the Cowboys have always had the marquee running back all throughout my livelihood. They had Dwayne Thomas, and R.I.P. to Dwayne Thomas, the great Dwayne Thomas passed away a couple of days ago. So we had Dwayne Thomas, you had Calvin Hill, Don Perkins was the original superstar running back. Then they had, of course, Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith. So Cowboys have always had a superstar running back. So to piggyback on your point, what they're finna do right now with this running back situation is the same thing they did a few years back when they cut theirs with this receiver by committee. Mm-hmm. So after about 4 or 5 games, they realized that receiver by committee was a failure. So it would not shock me if they do the same thing at running back. Now I will say this, going back and talking about, generational Cowboys talk, and I'm gonna call myself the Cowboy OG. What I think they ought to do with Zeke is use Zeke the way they did Preston Pearson back in the 1970s when they drafted Tony Dorsett, the Heisman Trophy winner, but they had a running back already on the team, Preston Pearson, who was a veteran, very good player, especially out of the backfield. So they named Tony Dorsett the starter, but Tom Landry did the genius thing is he said, you know what, I got this veteran over here. Tony Dorsett could not catch. He was horrible catching the ball. So Landry said, I got Preston Pearson, the veteran over here. What I'm going to do on passing downs is take Dorsett out the field, put Preston Pearson on the field. That's when the NFL got introduced to the third down back. Before Tom Landry did that, nobody was using the third down back. Most of the running backs in the NFL, the Jim Browns, people like that, they never came off the field.
Yeah.
So Tom Landry introduced a third down running back with Preston Pearson because he catch the ball better than any receiver. Very skilled. So what I'd like to see them do with Zeke is just use him on third down. Zeke has very good hands. He runs pretty decent, routes. He knows protection. So if they're smart, they shouldn't start Zeke and just give him a bunch of carries. They should just use him in the Preston Pearson role and let him do that. He'll be, really effective. He's not gonna get wore down. So that's what they need to do.
Is Mike McCarthy that smart? Is he that smart?
I saw something. It's been several weeks back, and he actually said that we're not bringing Zeke in or playing the way we played him before. So we finna find out. We finna see.
He said that. He said that the first day that Zeke got.
Can you find a picture of Preston Pearson?
Yeah, he said that the day that Zeke got brought back in. Yeah. I wanted, you know what, I'm going to try to see. Let's see. Yeah. So running back by committee, we know that there's really not a starter. They're just going to be, but like I said, what I want to do is, what I want to see them do is, I want to see them actually play what's my guy name that I like that I want to see him play? The fullback, the one that fumbled against Miami.
I can't think of his name.
Hunter Lipke. That's what I want to see.
And it's a lot of people talking about Hunter Lipke, but the bottom line is, McCarthy, for whatever reason, just didn't want to play him. So, hopefully
it's like it's politics or something. It's just like, why wouldn't you play him? And he really is good.
There just really wouldn't be any politics to even look at. But now your politics is you brought Zeke back. So Zeke is gonna put him in a position to where he can't play. So
that's crazy. This is Preston Pearson.
Yeah, that's like an old film. We looking for Preston so I think he played for the Colts, and then he actually played for the Steelers on one of their Super Bowl teams, and then he got traded to Dallas. That's him. But you try to find one in a Cowboy uniform.
I'm sure they got the Cowboy uniform on here. But let me see. Yeah,
you just had one. That was one right there. That's him. That's him. That's a good one right here coming out of the backfield.
The original third down back.
Yeah. Tom Landry introduced that to the NFL.
That's what the Cowboys, remember, that's what we be talking about too. That's what Tom Landry did. That's what made him so different. And I wasn't even alive back then, but I could tell that he was just an innovative coach.
Yeah, he was an innovator. He brought the shotgun back. The shotgun was a play that passing formation that they used like years before Tom Landry. But he brought it back and perfected it. And when he started using the shotgun, people were really criticizing him, saying it was goofy, saying it wasn't going to work. But of course, everybody started using it because it worked. It was a genius. He was very, very. That's a good one of Preston Pearson right there. That's that. They played the Rams in the NFC Championship game, and Preston Pearson was just. See, in this game right here, they got Dorsett, but Preston Pearson was the star of the game. He was just killing them on third down. So, that's kind of one of the things we're going to do on our show. I'm calling myself the Cowboy OG, so we're going to talk about some Cowboy OG stories that I have. And then one thing I want to say about our show is my background. I have a lot of experience in project management. For us, this is a project, so that's probably one of his most famous catch right there, that diving catch he made. That was in the NFC Championship game.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that play that reran 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm. And we got our special guest popping in from time to time. But so what we're going to talk about is our show. We're just kind of starting out. Like I said, I have a lot of background in project management, so we're going to just improve our show. Each show we do some things that's gonna make it a lot smoother, a lot better. This is a new thing for us, so new in the content creation. So we're gonna be pros on this.
Yeah, it's not gonna be long. My dad. That's his background. My background. I'm a visual performing arts major. I make beats. I'm a producer. I'm a DJ. I have a lot of experience, and we're just Cowboy fanatics. So we're gonna make this work. This is our first show ever, so. See my son, he's trying to figure out what's going on. He don't know what's going on. But what generation Cowboy fan would he be?
He's gonna be the
fifth generation Cowboy. So so Preston Pearson, he's a third down running back. And that's how Zeke need to be. He need to be a third down running back, or just use him on the goal line.
Yeah. All of these plays you're seeing, this is Tony Dorsett is on the team.
This is just third down.
Yeah, this is what he did. And you ever heard of Ron Springs? So Ron Springs is the guy that Everson Wiles gave the kidney to. So Ron Springs came in after Preston Pearson retired, and Ron Springs was probably one of the best third down backs in the NFL. So he made it even better. But this is all these players you're seeing. Tony Dorsett is on the team. He's just not on the field. So, And to take it a step further, to piggyback on my own comment, Tom Landry purposely limited Dorsett's carries. So because Dorsett wasn't a big guy, Tom Landry didn't want Dorsett to get beat up. So he really, looking out for his back. Now Dorsett didn't like that, but he appreciated it much later in his career. But yeah, Landry, he didn't want to wear Dorsett down. And this right here, that's Super Bowl 13 you're looking at right there.
Well, they got all these running backs by committee, so they shouldn't be wearing each other down. They don't have a super good running back, but they got some decent ones. Like I said, Hunter Luki, I think he gonna have a breakout year.
And Zeke in this role right here, Zeke can really help us. On goal line, third down. They do not need to have the Zeke out there, just playing a whole bunch of carries.
Now I don't want to get this mixed up. I want Zeke out there with the
look at Preston Pearson.
I see it.
He fumbled that one right there, but yeah.
I want to see him out there against that first game when we got Guyton out there. I need him to get over there and help a little bit.
Yeah, well, I imagine in the first game, Zeke is gonna have to play a lot. Yeah, there ain't no question about that.
Yeah, so we covered quite a few topics tonight. What else do we need to cover?
I think that's enough for our first show. We can just, go ahead and that Super Bowl right there. They beat Denver. So we're gonna be doing a lot of OG, a lot of throwback talk, kind of relating it to what's happening current day.
Yeah, we're gonna have a show. We're gonna have a point in every show where we do an OG story, an OG Cowboy story.
Mm-hmm.
Then do one where I have my moments where we have a throwback Cowboy story. Like when I first realized what was going on, I think I was probably like 4 or 5 when I first realized how the game worked. When I first realized that
became a Cowboy fan.
Right. Well, I would say became a Cowboy fan. I was kind of just born into being a Cowboy fan, but actually understanding the game of football.
Of the game, yeah.
Right. Probably like 4 years old. Used to have everybody come over on Sundays, and watch the game. But my thing was just like I remember paying attention to 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 or 1st and 10. And when I first understood it, I was like, okay, so if that was 2nd and 3rd, if that was 2nd and 7, then this should be 3rd and 4, and it was like 3rd and 3. And then I was just like, okay, so I'm getting that right. Then the next one, I was like, okay, so this should be a first down. And it was a first down. So that's when I actually understood, So, yeah, so you'll all be hearing for us. So we thank y'all for tuning in and on our first show. I'm going to get this out. And this is Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. And we're kind of giving y'all a breakdown on why it's called Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. And stay tuned. Please like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter. And follow my dad. His name is at Cowboy Joe 64, and I'm DJ. I tell you what. And y'all follow and subscribe on all our platforms. We're going to be on Twitter. We're going to have an Instagram up pretty soon. We're going to have our YouTube. We got our YouTube going. And so shout out to Law Nation, Mark Holmes. Shout out to all of the content creators. Boss Cowboy. We are local. We do live in Dallas. We're from Dallas. And so we shout out to all the content creators out there. We appreciate y'all. Y'all gave us the intuitive. Y'all gave us the we said we were going to do this because we like all the content creators and we think we got a lot to say. So we appreciate y'all. So
you got some takeout music?
Yeah, I'm gonna find some takeout music. And we'll see y'all on the next time.
Appreciate it.